Okay, it is 6 o'clock, and we will now call to order the March 10th, 2014 meeting of the Easthampton Conservation Commission. This meeting is being recorded. Are there any public concerns, non-agenda items?
Yes.
Come on up, and while you're up here, sign in. We can talk about it.
My kid would sit there that quiet. Never would.
Mine would for about 2 minutes, and then, all of a sudden they'd like jump up and start running around.
1 second.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we'll start with East Street first, if we could. This is the old East Street.
This is not what I expected.
Oh.
Okay, that's fine.
Do you remember we were here with Mr. Cooley?
Yes.
And that property.
Oh, yeah.
This is that plot plan of it.
So what is the house?
301 East Street.
Okay. And do you know off the top of your head the assessor's map and lot number?
I can get it for you.
Okay. And the only reason I ask is that I just want it in our meeting minutes, which we can fill in afterward, to be clear, because when we did the permitting for the condos, it got,
Something got flipped.
well, they got merged, and it was the street address of one and the map and lot of the other, and
Okay.
just want to be clear for future reference.
So that's the existing house, which I had the building inspector come over, and he said as long as we could show proof it was a two-family, which had 2 meters on, and the assessors showed, yes, it was a two-family in 2004. The roofs on it are very good, so there was it didn't rot inside, so we're going to bring it back as a two-family. So as long as it's non-conforming, I can't really do anything outside, so the only thing we're going to do outside is put new siding on, and the rest of the work would just be in interior.
You don't need to redo a driveway, put up a shed, take down scrubby veg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the vegetation, yes. You'll see there's, I don't think an old apple, a crab apple around here. So that's out.
Okay.
There's the buffer here that we
Okay.
put. There is a maple right here that has a broken limb that we want to just trim off that limb.
Okay. And one thing I will mention, because this is an earlier plan, this is a jurisdictional stream,
Okay.
and therefore the pipe that conveys it also has a buffer zone. So instead of arcing around,
It'll be longer.
it
Okay.
goes parallel to that pipe, just so,
And I'm fine with that.
but that's just buffer zone.
Yeah.
Okay. So some veg,
Yeah, there's
Work in the yard?
Yeah, you'll see some old trees and stuff that are close to the house in the back. We're just going to clean those out.
okay.
There's a gravel driveway now.
And it's going to stay at gravel
Yeah.
driveway? Okay. That's good.
That was that Kulig's.
Oh, that was Kulig's thing, okay.
Yeah, that was down there. But you're not
There's
gonna
like
do.
this huge thing showing on the plan.
Yeah, that's my only plan I have of it.
Okay. So you're talking about tree removal and buffer zone
Yeah.
in the existing yard.
An existing area, yeah. So no addition to the house.
Okay. Since it's in the existing yard, what do we think?
I don't have a problem with cutting some trees in the existing yard.
Yeah, I mean, the grass is there. We're just going to cut the stumps down low, and we're just going to mow the lawn and bring it back. It's
Okay.
grassy around it. It's pretty much
Yep.
So as
all
long
we're
as,
going to do.
if the plan changes?
We'll let you know, yeah.
All right.
I mean, there will be another two-family over here, which then maybe
But that's
that
not-
will
if it's-
have, that's not this project right now. It'll be separate. It's all one lot right now. Eventually, could be separate properties.
Okay.
So that's that one. Didn't need a copy of this. Yeah, that's my only one that I got. Okay. And then these two are for Paul Street, right on either side of the house that we put up
Okay.
on the buffer side.
Are there any decks?
Yes, we will have that
Okay,
on
so-
both of these. I suppose what Mark should have done was had a larger footprint of what we would build so that, and I don't know why he just didn't put decks on those existing. I have to say that when I came to your sign up, I did bring a print with me.
Do you have, you didn't,
I didn't, the one for 29 will be another colonial just like the one, except that lot is smaller, so it won't have the mudroom in between.
I'm just gonna try to pull plans, just so we can see.
Yeah.
I don't recall the details well enough to know 25 versus 29.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are those the two addresses that we have?
29 and 25.
Jay, can you help me?
The street is Paul
That's the
Street.
tallest person.
It's actually
even know.
extension of Paul Street, a new little cul-de-sac. It was just called Paul Street. So you can see.
That's the thing.
The right hand side.
Gotta have one.
Yeah.
Swinging the hammer yet?
No, but she's cleaning up. That's a room right hand.
All right. Could be painting soon, huh?
I'm gonna get a cramp if I try to. I'm not joking. I did that with
It's good.
on top of the kitchen counter.
After seeing it. Sometimes it gets a little much. We go.
Yeah.
Right? You get a Happy Meal?
Kids do it.
Mr. Garcia Builders.
Okay, let's see. Jillian Estates. Thank you, because I walk away. So, you did lot
3.
3, and now
This would be 29, 25.
so 4 and 2. Looking for something with. Where's the plan that shows the? Oh, is that no? Where's the easement?
The easement for the town.
I thought there was something that came across here that was of concern.
This is the little bit, well, I think we're back for our little swale.
Yeah, what sheet, you know?
Grading that. I feel like this is where the was for.
Yeah.
And I thought there was something, oh, sorry, sweetie. I thought there was something about a drainage easement.
It's somewhere.
Don't you recall?
Yeah, I have a PDF that shows I don't forget if it's 20.
Yeah, there's a
20
little
feet or
bit
10
of a
feet.
swale that we have for each yard.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, what would the dimensions on the decks be?
Probably they would only be 12 feet out, either by 16 or 20. So they would only go 12 feet out.
So within the existing yard, up on piers?
Yes, on piers, yeah.
Or-
Pressure treated frame and then either pressure treated deck or maybe a ZEC or something like that.
Anything? Okay.
Yeah, it's all nice sand up on top, so it's it's good, but, we'll make that same little bit of a swale in the back, like that. Maybe that's it.
Well, there's no,
Yeah, so these are the contours that show the swale,
Yeah.
but there was a plan, and I figured it would have been in the set, I don't know where I saw it, then that showed an easement line through the backs of these 3 lots to here, I think.
yeah, that's what I thought I
For
recalled.
maintenance of the drainage swale. And so I think that's what we were concerned about, just, for maintaining that access for maintenance of the swale. But I don't know if it was an easement in favor of the city or just in favor of the other parcels that drain to it or what.
So far, with the heaviest rains, it really hasn't even made it out of the yards. It's just drained right down, so it's so impervious land there. Even the loam is sandy loam, so.
Okay, so, back, any concerns? No?
I guess just want to make sure that the swale is kind of free flowing.
Yeah. It's all going to be seeded long. It should be.
Should tide you over for a little bit? Oh, there's Mommy.
Hi! Well, you got your babies before.
Either fashion, you think anything of it.
We didn't?
No.
None of us did. Mothers don't judge other mothers.
No, she's dressed, she's wearing a coat. She's wearing a coat, this is great. I like that flamingo. That's nice.
What do you think?
Thank you. You're welcome. All right, I'm just saying it's per order of conditions.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
anything
All right.
else tonight?
That's it.
We're good? Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you for
Nice to
taking me.
see you.
Yeah, thank you. Good night. Take care.
Good night. Okay. We have no public hearings or public meetings. We did receive in time for our next meeting agenda? No. I think this is, I'll have to double check. February 25th. We have an RDA from Mass DOT.
Vegetation management.
They submitted it in time to be on the, what's the date on it?
25th.
Yeah, they submitted it a day late to be included on the March 24th meeting agenda. And I think I copied you on my response to them where
You
I
may have, and
I tell them when it needs to be advertised in the Gazette. So that's coming up. I have expected Jim Gracia to be here tonight with a request for amended order of conditions, but he's not. So if he sent it by email, I've been away from my desk since 3, so actually no, I know I haven't gotten any emails from him. So that will not be on the next agenda. No request for certificates of compliance, no enforcement orders. One other topic before we get on to updates. I spoke with Bill Crocker, who's doing the work for Hilltown Charter School at the former, excuse Jessica please.
And how do you spell that name?
Which?
I know how to spell Jessica.
No, Bill Crocker.
Yeah.
Q-U-R.
Crocker? Yeah, Crocker. C-R-O-C-K-E-R. Sorry. And I think it's Crocker Building. The company is Crocker Building. So they are, my understanding is he owns the company that's doing the renovation work at the former Gen Optics. So I have conditionally signed off on the building permit for the interior work, but he understands that there are buffer zone issues and this is I said you did. So I came in last week and these are just reduced scale copies of the complete auto,
Right.
which is up gradient at 10 O'Neill Street.
So what is the name of the building that they're remodeling? I forgot.
Genoptik, Genoptik. It's 1-3 Industrial Parkway. It's 1 to 3 Industrial Parkway with the Genoptik building.
Is it the one that has this, the thingy going through it, below it, or am I picturing something else?
So these are the plans from Complete Automotive Repair, which is at 10 O'Neill Street, which is between the Easthampton Savings Bank and the former Genoptik building. And we did issue a certificate of compliance for this work, the Complete Automotive Repair. But it suggests, I mean, it suggests that there are buffer zones that extend onto the Genoptik property. And also, the questions that I have, sorry, this is from the city's mapping. So this zigzaggy, sorry Jared, zigzaggy channel you see here is that riprap stream. So at some point in time, the stream channel was armored with riprap. I saw a preliminary drawing for the Hilltown Charter School. It shows as a riprap swale. I spoke with the assistant planner and conveyed to the building inspector, Bill Crocker, and the assistant planner that this is in fact a jurisdictional stream. So even if it has an armored channel, it's jurisdictional and has a buffer zone. So this stream somehow goes underground here. And then the DEP wetlands mapping shows a stream channel popping up over here. So wherever this stream goes, whether it's a pipe this way or a pipe for this short stretch between the end of that channel and the beginning of the map channel, that pipe has a buffer zone, that stream channel has a, so there are jurisdictional issues. They're not doing a whole lot of work outside, but they are proposing to mill and overlay the pavement, which is not exempt. And then they're proposing some grading down here. It's hard to say where, but again, that would be jurisdictional as well. So it's based on my conversation with him today, it sounds like Mr. Crocker understands that the interior work is not subject to Wetlands Protection Act jurisdiction, but they need to have a more robust delineation survey and plan put forward for the exterior work. And hopefully we'll be continuing.
Yeah, I remember looking at that, just channel going down and then right under, like right under the building.
Okay, we're done talking about that. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Updates. City of Easthampton fish ladder, which I am not a part of because of conflict of interest.
Nothing's happening there.
Well, Paul Street Extension, Jillian Estates, they'll be on the books for 2 more active parcels, and the same conditions about weekly reports apply. So we'll have to be on that. Savings Bank parking lot, nothing
It's a
till
snowbank, it's a
spring.
big snow pile this morning.
Pleasant Street Mills.
We're going to be starting construction here, if not this week because of this pending snowstorm, then next week.
And anything within our jurisdiction, like erosion and sedimentation controls have to go in, or just other parts of the project?
I'd have to look at what segment they're doing first, but they're doing trenching at this point.
Okay.
So I'll remind them.
Great. Nothing on Glendale.
No activity today.
Additional information about the feasibility study for shared conservation agent? Any feedback?
Yeah, so I had a conversation with the section manager of the land use department, which is overseeing Jamie's work, Jamie was here at the last meeting talking about it. And she's working with the regional services staff person who, I don't know where they're housed, but anyway, he approached me and he said it looks like they had an internal conversation about the project, and it looks like that they will have somewhere around 90 hours to actually do implementation work at the end of the project. And so he was looking for my feedback on what sorts of projects would be useful to the commission at this point in terms of an implementation strategy. And so we came up with two things. One, to have somebody develop fact sheets to hand out to the public about what are wetlands, what's jurisdictional. If you remember, we had a bunch of folks in here asking a lot of questions about the technical aspects of what's jurisdictional and what's not. So developing some packet of information that would be a public information packet, permitting that on the permitting side. And then the other conversation we had was about stewardship of our open spaces, and I don't know whether they would be willing to set up a volunteer group, but I also mentioned the orchard as an actual project. That would be great for somebody to sort of figure out what needs to happen on the orchard if they're not going to come up with like a bigger comprehensive stewardship program, at least focus on that one parcel as an idea. So I don't know where it's going to go from there, but that was the latest conversation that I've had. And I was interviewed by Jamie, I think the day after our last meeting, over the phone. And she asked me, I don't know, we were on the phone for about a half hour, asking me a lot of questions. So, it's fun.
What was the name of the person that you talked to?
Jamie Bartek. She was a staffer here.
Yeah.
So it's Chris Curtis, who is the section manager for the land use section. So that's the update on that.
Awesome. That's encouraging. Open space plan updates. ADA self-evaluation.
All right. I walked one of my parcels, and I got a little confused just about, what was what. So I had sent some emails up to Jessica, and he responded with some information. So I walked the Borkowski parcel, which is the big one out there. I went with Wally, who's kind of been involved in, he knows the area fairly well. So that's the big parcel. The other parcel to the north is, I guess, the root parcel, and that's what I was confused about, because I walked these a few years ago with Stuart and Peter, and I remember Stuart not wanting to go out onto the root parcel, really. At least that's what I remember, and I thought it was because it was for water supply protection, but it turns out that it's not, that it's a open space.
It appears. I mean, I think it was conveyed so long ago that the only piece of information that I found was the deed that conveyed it to the city in 74, but there was nothing. There's no meat to it. It was just the conveying it for a certain price, and that was it.
Okay. Well, where are the wells and everything in relation to that? Are they right at the bottom, or?
Because I thought, I wasn't paying too close attention, but
That blue property north of it, that's the water.
oh, right there.
No, the parcel right above it. I believe that's the blue one.
The blue one.
I think so.
Where?
The one you're pointing at.
That's Borkowski.
Yeah, that's the root parcel. Yeah, that's Borkowski.
Okay. So just
That's
north
root
of
parcel.
that.
Yeah, there's a little blue sliver here. I guess maybe that's it. But so I guess that's why I thought that maybe this one is for water supply protection also, because it was kind of close.
Well, I mean, maybe it is, but it just wasn't
Explicitly written.
Well, it just wasn't written and legalized,
Yeah.
So maybe, yes, that was the purpose of it, or the city accepted it in 74, and then over time, there was a realization of its value in terms of a resource protection area for water, and maybe that was just, in Stuart's mind, that was what it was to be used for, as essentially the person who's developing trail networks in the city, wanted to stay away from it because of its water protection value, but there was nothing in the legal documents that states that as such. So the question is, should there be, if that's what its value really should be, is a resource protection parcel not open to the public, then we need to make that more legal.
Okay.
That would be my comment.
There is a sign right at the entrance to the Borkowski parcel, and I wish I should have taken a picture, but it says, kind of like Catherine Root and, Borkowski Conservation Area, joint project between the City of Easthampton and the Mass Division of the Department of something or another.
As water
So-
supply
Well,
protection land.
because the
and
Borkowski
not
property
general
was purchased
open
with
space
self-help
for public
money,
access.
Yeah.
which is Department of Conservation Services
Yeah,
money.
gotcha.
So that's why that sign was up, is because we use state funds to purchase that center
Just that we need to
parcel
figure that
for
out.
conservation.
We'll flush
Yeah.
it out. with
And then the
just
bottom
like-
parcel was purchased with aquifer protection land monies. And so because that's the pot that it came from, that absolutely is a water protection parcel that's under DPW's jurisdiction.
Okay.
You don't have jurisdiction. So again, it's tied to the funding source. So the funding source that purchased that middle one was the self-help land acquisition.
Yeah,
So that can be used for conservation.
Okay.
The Captain Route, because it was purchased in '74, it was a really low dollar amount, I think.
it was like 15 or 19.
Yeah, $1,900 or something. A lot of money in 1974, but yeah, $1,900.
1900, okay, yeah.
So, for $2,000, the city acquired that property in 1974.
Yeah.
I don't know what its reasoning is, because there's nothing filed, Board of Selectmen, anything. I mean, if we really wanted to ask Barbara to go back and look, we probably could. We could probably go back in the records and figure out why, what the vote was, what the motion was, if it states specifically in the minutes that the Board of Selectmen was accepting this property for recreation purposes, then, I think that's the best that we could do, but it never made it into the deed.
Okay.
Well, maybe we do ask that, because I was thinking the next step, if it's only on the books as open space conservation land, then, but it's functioning exclusively, or it serves a higher value as water supply protection, then I think there's merit in formally designating it as such, so that there isn't potential future confusion. Because water supply protection land's hard to,
Right.
it's important.
And I can ask Jim Gracia and Joe Pipp on their background and knowledge on that parcel.
Yeah.
They've been here long enough that they may know what its value is in terms of its protection.
Do you know the map and lot of the root parcel?
I do,
169-2.
and so does she.
That's what she said. Thank you.
Yeah. But,
169-2.
169-2.
and so when we did walk the Borkowski parcel, you said in your email you had a hand sketch map and everything like
That
that?
was from Stuart's files that I found.
Oh, yeah.
So that's his. These are not mine.
GPS.
Well,
And these are
actually,
the trails that he drew. So that's,
Existing, proposed.
I have a whole packet that's called, actually, I have it right here. I found it doing organization and clean out at one point. So this pack was all together, conservation land, City of Easthampton Conservation Commission, with a little summary and then little hand-drawn maps for each property.
Well, that's
Interesting.
a good resource to know that we have.
Absolutely. So that's what I basically sent you, was this, but I added my markups with parcel IDs and labels so that you're all understanding the same thing.
gotcha.
Thank you.
So I tracked the route that we walked on our phone, and that trail did go off the Borkowski parcel to the south under that little
Under the
horse.
rocky.
Yeah, under that one.
So you did this trail here?
Yes, yeah. And we went up.
Did you do this one too?
No, we didn't.
And there's one here, supposedly. And these are all mountain biking trails, that's my understanding, is this is a big mountain biking
Is
area?
that the,
Yeah.
the Rich LeBombard?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I went up there with him and Peter one time to look at the tracks across the brooks and things like that.
So
Yeah.
again, from a stewardship standpoint, mountain bikers are wonderful, but they can do some trail damage, and so I think we need just to sort of put it on our list of things that need to be managed and watched, is if it becomes that the trails are eroding and,
It was
becoming a
ATV
problem.
people that were really causing the damage
Okay.
before, so.
Yeah.
And can they get in or not?
Yeah, they can still get there, but
Yeah, there's a footbridge that I guess the mountain bike club put across Broadbrook, and next to it you can see where it's too narrow for ATVs, but you can see where ATVs are fording the river right next to it. There wasn't any sign that they'd been through there this winter, but it sounds like the mountain bike club isn't as active now as they used to be. Talking to Wally, sounds like they moved on to something else, someplace
Steeper
else.
pastures.
Yeah. bigger, steeper.
Mount Holyoke Range has a whole section of mountain bike trails, right? That's my understanding.
So does Montauk Park.
I think so.
Okay,
So,
Yeah.
okay.
So I did the form for the Borkowski parcel, and I can send it to you.
okay.
And I didn't do one for the root parcel because I didn't really go up there, but I don't really think there's much up there anyways, but I'll try to
Well, we
walk
could,
it
I
again.
mean, I'd be happy to go with you and check, I want to check this out. I've never been on this parcel, and I'm kind of anxious to get out there.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind going up here and checking this out, because I bet there's some nice views. And then,
Hey, whatever gets us out there, right?
that's right,
Yep.
that's right. So, okay.
Okay, so I have no updates on the next two things. And I don't have a copy of the meetings from February 24th. But Jay does. Jay's my new favorite. Okay, so has everyone had a chance to review the February 24th, 2014 meeting minutes?
I wasn't here, but I did look at them, just out of interest and
Oh,
general curiosity.
we don't have a quorum for this.
Sure we do. Or no?
We don't have the right quorum for this. You weren't here, Chris was. You were here, Chris isn't.
Yeah, but how many people, you got 3 people to vote on it, right?
We got
How many members? Oh, is our minimum quorum now
I think it's 3.
You got 5
Okay.
members.
Yes.
Okay, we're good. Sorry, the brain stopped. Would anyone like to make a
I'll
motion?
make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from February 24th.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye. So moved. Okay.
Heavy
Okay.
paper.
One more thing before.
It's like paper cut
Like-
paper.
I received, the Conservation Commission email address received an email from Tom Lotzenheimer, who is part of the Skama Conservation
Okay.
Trust, asking about what sort of filing would be appropriate for culvert replacements on the PCT property. He called it Mutter Field / Brickyard Brook, MUTTER.
I think that's the donate property that they're calling Mutter.
Well, that would make sense with the location. And so, regardless, replacing a culvert, working on a stream, even if there's no flow, working in a resource area like that should be a notice of intent and not an RDA, and that is how I responded.
Is this the one where they want to have access off a cul-de-sac where there used to be?
There's
culvert?
there is an existing culvert. My understanding, hold on.
Get a Blessed Mountain View Farm. There's access from East Street, and I think there's access
This is the email we received. It had a photo and site plan, but, so one portion of the site plan, the one off the East Green Street cul-de-sac, is obviously very easy to physically locate yourself. The other one is shown in plan view off to the side. I have no idea where that is on, geographically on the landscape or a topo map or anything. But regardless, if you're replacing culverts on jurisdictional streams, then it should be a notice of intent and not an RDA.
I went to look at something for the trust with Peter and John Bader was there 3-4 years ago or something like that. And I want to say that this maybe was it, but I can't.
This came up a few years ago.
Yeah.
And
I thought there was a total washout though.
I don't remember that, but
I mean, it's just,
I wouldn't put any money on that memory.
it's just pretty deteriorated, I guess. Maybe that's what it was. It's been a while. Okay.
So those have been the conversations as of late. Nothing significant. So. So is there anything else? We have something from UMass, masswoods.net. It has to do with managing forested wet oak.
It's a fancy poster.
It's a fancy poster. Do you want to put the fancy poster up?
It's up to you. You think it makes sense?
Do we, I mean, so, it's a nice fancy poster. Sorry, I was putting it in. So in terms of active land forestry for land management, there aren't any plans on file with the commission. There are no forestry plans on file with the commission. So I don't necessarily
For city-owned parcels or
any owned
anything?
parcels. So I don't see the, if anyone else wants to take a look at it, you're welcome to, but thank you, and Robin Levels. Thank you for recording the order, the amended order. I appreciate that. Okay. So, we may have quorum issues coming up in general. Well, Chris let us know that he's traveling quite a bit for work
Right.
in the coming month or so.
I am having contractions, not like tonight, but
Right now, you're controlling it very nicely. I would never pick.
I've been having some, so there's a possibility this baby will come a little early.
When's your actual due date?
End of March.
Oh,
So the next meeting is a little question marky for me.
and that's fine,
Just so you know.
because
We'll just have to hold the meetings at your house. So you don't have to go anywhere.
Where's the meeting?
I'm gonna require
Jerry's
you in the
from
other room if I'm actually in the other room.
Well, no, I mean after,
We'll finish
the next 3 months.
Just finish.
However long you need.
Yeah, so, okay, well,
Do the best you can.
yeah, and let us know how things are going to the,
It's kind of quiet agenda-wise lately too, it seems.
and, I mean, we do have the Mass DOT RDA at our next meeting, but if that gets pushed back because we don't have a quorum, Mass DOT can either roll with it or appeal to DEP for lack of timely action. And if we can't gather a quorum, there's not much we can do. Although, can we put up, do you know, are there any people looking for opportunities
I
to...
can throw something out on the
Can you
Facebook
throw something
page.
out, please?
Sure.
And I can share it.
Do you want it to be specifically for Conservation Commission?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I mean, we have 2 open seats. And with 2 of us being under the same employer,
It's a little risky.
you know, that,
Yeah.
I think we already agreed that wouldn't be a wise move. And so that's basically like my pool of people in Easthampton who might be interested or have backgrounds that might be useful. So,
Your wife?
What? No, that would totally.
that's like a
We were
double
just-
whammy.
I know, that's why I said it.
Plus, we'd have 2 kids in the audience every time.
How old do you have to be to be in public? I went years ago. I went to a Conservation Commission meeting in Athol, and there was, I swear to God, there was a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old on the commission. I swear to God. No, not making this up. Can you have junior members?
No idea.
Do you have to be 18 to be a
The whole
voting
thing
member?
about
I mean, I think if a high
associate
school student
numbers.
wanted to join,
Yeah.
there'd be some serious training that would have to happen, but, you know, there's... Like we got a 20-something as a mayor next door, so you never know.
And, and Chicopee just got a new Conservation Commission member who's a senior at Westwood State.
There you go.
So, yeah, do you need to be 18 or could you be 16 or 14? or-
That's a great question. You can ask the city clerk.
Yeah.
I don't
Or
really care
consult your
that
MAC
much.
handbook.
My what book?
MAC,
Oh.
MACC.
I would think that would just be a public meeting thing and not a, anyway.
Jay, do you want Northern Woodlands?
I'll look at it.
I feel better about passing along. All right, so is there anything else anyone would like to bring up during the meeting? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
You know, I was reading Robert's rules a little bit, and you can do this by, there's like a thing.
That is so helpfully specific.
You can adjourn, you could just say if there are no objections and then adjourn.
All right, if there are no objections, I will now adjourn the meeting at 6:40 p.m.
I forget what you call it, but it's called like rule by.
Done.